Kalevash here, the original heal tank, and welcome to my channel. This page follows my self-healing tank build on Ascension, a private World of Warcraft server that lets you mix and match everything from the original classes, including thousands of all-new custom-made abilities, talents, enchantments, and items. If you want to learn more about this build, make sure to check out the other videos on my channel, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hey guys, Kalevash here, and I'm back with another dungeon video. Today we are going to be doing a Zul'Farrak Mythic Plus, but not just any Mythic Plus level. We are going straight from 0 to a 10. Didn't want to start off too low, wanted to give myself a little bit of a challenge. So I figured 10 would be a good starter point, just so that we are doing Mythic Plus, but not quite ready to introduce the Mythic Champions yet. Something else that I did want to mention before we get started here. It's been almost 2 weeks since my last build video, but since then, my subscriber count has more than doubled. It appears that the search algorithm is starting to recommend some of my videos to you guys. It is cool to see you commenting, asking questions, you know, a lot of thumbs up, a lot of praise, even some DMs on Discord. But that being said, you know, you guys are here to watch a dungeon solo run, so let's get right into it. Alright, and something that we're doing different today on this one, I am going to play this in real time. It is not going to be sped up, and I am going to comment over the video just to give you guys a little insight into what I'm thinking on each one of these pulls here. Got quite a bit of feedback saying that you guys wanted to hear more of the sultry voice, so that's what we're going to be doing today here. On this first pull, wasn't trying to do anything crazy, just kind of testing out what kind of damage I'm taking from the different affixes. That was an easy one. Got a big crit there on Divine Storm. Still taking it pretty slow here in the start, just kind of watching my health bar. Not having to really use Light of the Guardian. Most of the passive healing I get from either Draining Strikes or Unbounded Death Healer along with Divine Storm is keeping me up. And then of course fighting trash here, you know, using Victory Rush whenever needed just to get back, you know, that 12% of my max health. I should say it's 10% as a base, but I have healing modifiers from the Paladin talents. Alright, we're walking our way up here, going to look for a way to skip quite a few of these trash mobs, which later on you'll see that I actually skipped a little bit too much. Spent quite a bit of time just trying to clear trash for the percentage. So if you guys don't know this skip, I would at least hope you would this far into the season, but you can mount up in the dungeon. You can do this jump here, you can go across. Now I do mess it up the first time here. So I get up, but then instead of making it over to the next one, I accidentally fall down trying to climb this cliff. Yeah, I thought there would be a low enough incline there that I would stick to the wall, but ended up having to go around and then ended up pulling more mobs here. Rushed in. Charged in. And then there's another caster that got pulled, so I decided to get this show on the road. We're going to LOS up at the top here. Make them come to me. Alright, grouped them up. Divine Storm, of course. The cool thing about these mobs is a lot of them are casting Shadow Bolt, and because I have the Ward of Light talent, anytime I take magic damage, it has a chance to reset the cooldown on Divine Storm. if I'm pulling bigger groups of these mobs, you can essentially just hit Divine Storm, and Divine Storm. Keeps the health meter topped off, also gets the highest amount of AoE. Yeah, not having a lot of luck here with the wall hopping. The skips in Zul'Farrak are very useful, but there's also a lot of gaps between the walls and the terrain itself. And now what I'm doing here is I am looking for the additional boss. He's not a whole lot bigger than the other mobs, so it's very hard to tell just at first glance here which one is the boss NPC. So he starts patrolling over in the opposite direction. I'm trying to check out the patrol lines, decide that I'm gonna wait for him to come back, so clear out these two here. It's pretty cool to see Crusader Strike hit for you know, those 15 to 20k crits. Alright, then we got the boss coming here on the left. Try to do a line of sight pull. Get the net. Get out of the net. Somehow the net is dispellable. I didn't realize that was a thing. I'm not even sure if that's intended. I am having mana problems from time to time here. Realized later on in the dungeon that my Blessing of Sanctuary had dropped off. And even with procs up, I'm barely doing 11k DPS single target. You know, it's not bad as a tank, but at this point, with the talent setup that I have, along with just the sheer amount of stats or item level, I should be getting like 13 to 14. I think the biggest difference is going to be getting a 5 set of the Retribution Paladin Tier 1, because that automatically gives another 2% crit chance. Just by getting the 5 set bonus. Trying to clear some distance here. Trying to use the terrain to LOS. One of the mobs dropped through the terrain, but somehow is still within line of sight. Now we're just trying to figure out where it's at. Alright, moving on. I'm going to try to take these two down. The issue with the sand gazers, or whatever they're called, sand crawler, is they do that petrify spell where they turn you into stone for like 5 seconds. It's a bit annoying, especially on this fight. This is definitely my least favorite. This guy spawns a bunch of healing totems. But the thing is, I don't know if this needs to be a patch update, but even though I have things like Consecration, Seal of Command, Divine Storm, Consecrated Ground, you know, all these things that either cleave or deal area damage, the healing wards can only be hit by taking direct damage. So you have to either tab target or manually click the healing ward and then use one of your cooldown abilities in order to kill it. Very, very annoying on this fight. you end up seeing it becomes like a 5-minute long fight just because I'm dealing with getting turned to stone by the ads, and then at the same time dealing with having to tab target onto the healing wards. Still moving along pretty well though. And the CD on the pummel didn't line up with that healing ward, but we'll get him on the next one. It's pretty cool to see the total avoidance get up to about 62% there. Just some crazy numbers based off of the strength scaling. Alright, so we are turned to stone. Waiting for that to come off, then we got to deal with the healing ward at the same time. Ended up missing the pummel there. Missed the healing ward again. Have to tab target over. Trying to figure out what to do with my the mythical boons. Healing ward is up again. We are out of mana. Finally got a pummel up at the right time. And now this fight just drags on even more at the last 1% here. There we go. Alright, need to get some mana back. Next boss, I think it's like Theka the Martyr. I think that's what his name is, but he's down by all of the cockroaches or whatever those bugs are called. That's a fairly easy one. He does a disease attack, but it doesn't do a whole lot of damage. Then he does summon some additional, God, I don't even know what to call them, sand crawlers. Yeah, just trying to do as much AoE as possible, trying to get some percent as I'm killing the bosses here one by one. And then I realized that, you know, he's already like a third of the way down, so we're going to start just pulling more mobs with him. These smaller bugs don't give a whole lot of percentage, but they are easy, so I blow the horn here. Then it's just a matter of cleaving everything down. So I'm at 25% right now, and I think it only goes to like maybe 29 after the boss is down. Trying to push the DPS as much as possible. A lot of the time here in this run was spent doing single target damage, which I just simply don't have with my build. Very tanky, as you can see, and a lot of self-sustain with the healing, but damage output just isn't really there. I ended up running a Ascended Molten Core, I think not yesterday, but the day before. There was another guy running a Crimson version, I guess you could say, of my build here, but he didn't have the self-healing, but he was able to do like 37k sustained AoE damage, and he was probably doing about 15k single target. I did see him get up to 17k single target a few times, so he was, consistently doing about double the damage that I have with this current build. But of course, if you tried to get him into a setting like this, where you are doing solo content without a healer, I'm just not sure that he would survive very long. So that is the give and take, is that yes, I can do solo content, but with the group, when you do have a healer, you're going to want the tank to just be able to focus on dealing damage and generating threat along with survivability. And the thing is, with solo content, you don't have to worry about threat, but you do have to worry about healing. So that's kind of just how the build goes, is that it does have a lot of self-healing, that self-sustain built into it, but the damage output just simply isn't there, and you'll see that's why a lot of these fights just take way too long. So I might look to make some changes in terms of the talent setup. As far as gear goes, I already have pretty much all DPS gear, even though I am a tank. If you guys have watched my previous videos, the reason that I'm doing that is because of the Iron Will talent that converts strength to parry rating. And then also I believe it's called Tenacity, converts strength to armor. And then we have Deflection, which I don't have max rank of yet, but Deflection with max rank gives you magic damage reduction equivalent to 1/3 of your parry chance. So to get the maximum possible with the current talent setup with Season 9 is you want to have as much strength as possible while also maintaining a high amount of stamina and spell power. Because overall, tank gear just isn't really strong outside of the fact that you do have a bigger health bar. Now, what I'm going to show you guys here is a skip I just figured out how to do last week. So you come up here, you can mount up, hop on the wall, and then you're going to need to use Demonic Leap twice. So first is going to be to get up on here, and then we have to sit and patiently wait for the cooldown. And the reason I'm doing this skip is I just don't want to deal with the RP of the Executioner fight. Especially with my damage output, it would just take way too long. I probably wouldn't end up even being able to complete this on a one chest. Don't get me wrong, I would complete it, but we'd probably double the amount of time that it took me to do this. Just that one fight alone, I mean, we're probably talking, a 15-minute fight if it's me by myself. All right, let's make our way up the hill here. We got 2 bosses in one fight, but we want to clear out the ads beforehand. And the snakes here actually do quite a bit of damage. I'm fairly surprised at how much damage their venom is actually doing to me. But good thing I've got the Purify there to get rid of it. But yeah, after this pull, you end up seeing that my health was continuously dipping because of the stacks of poison there. Really struggling to keep the health up here, dipping pretty low. Alright, let's go clear out the other side. This one goes quite a bit better. End up getting a few crits out of Divine Storm. Really makes a big difference. Alright, then I end up double checking the additional boss list, because we do need one more in addition to the final boss here. And Ruzala, or whatever his name is, he is on the list, so that means this is the last boss fight I need to do. Gotta top off the bars first here, especially with having two of them at the same time. We've got all built into one here. We got half a healer, half a DPS, and one hell of a tank. Luckily, these guys are doing physical damage. When it comes to physical damage, I'm essentially immortal. I'm not really worried about it. And we're getting them down fairly evenly. Popping evasion here. I don't know what kind of power up he's doing, but I want to make sure I'm avoiding as much of that damage as possible. Almost there. Alright, so we would have two-chested it, but I am way behind on percentage, so we're going back down the hill, jumping off the side. Gonna find a bunch of mobs to fill up the meter here. Gonna try to do it as quick as possible. And I don't want to be pulling too big because we do have those stacks of necrotic as well. So trying to keep a pretty good eye on the health bar as I'm killing things here. And they have their blaze ward or whatever that's called, fire totem type thing. Alright, that pack is down. Trying to LOS these. Get them all to stacks. We can Divine Storm. Alright, still not enough here. We're not even close. Got to go over to the Gazrilla area. Really struggling with the DPS, but in order to keep up here with the timer, I'm gonna have to pull a bit bigger. And then just rely on those Divine Storm resets to keep my health bar up. LOS around the wall. Focusing on the, I don't even know what you call that, like monitor lizard looking thing. Try to avoid getting the petrify on me. Getting low on health, 1 Divine Storm cast, and we are back to max health. Slowly chugging along here, trying to get as much percentage as possible, but these mobs just don't give a lot. Accidentally pulled the boss, backing up a little bit too far. That's fine, just 1 more mob that we can Divine Storm on to heal. And again, this one does physical damage, so I'm not worried. Can definitely turn my back to him and be just fine. Alright, we are down to a 1 chest. That's fine. I just want to make sure that we get it done. I think throughout a lot of this dungeon, I think I was trying to be a bit too careful, just because it was my first time doing a Mythic 10. Have done, you know, 4s, 5s, 6s, but for this video, wanted to go straight up to a 10. Really just testing the water, so to speak. But if I had to do this all over again, I definitely would have pulled a lot bigger. You know, blowing the horn, counting on the Divine Storm resets. You know, if you die, you die. You get the Corpse Runner, you run back to your body. And then you keep the combat going. But the cool thing is, throughout this whole dungeon, I didn't even die a single time. And again, you know, that might not be the best thing, because that just means I could have pushed harder. But at the same time, you know, we are managing the damage dealt, and damage taken. Alright, we got 15 minutes to fill that bar. Shouldn't need all of it. Accidentally pulled the boss, so we're just gonna have to cleave. And the bosses have way too much health for how much percentage they give. If I had to do it again, I probably would have done a different route through this, just so that I could have avoided a few of the bosses a little bit easier. A lot of that skipping that I did at the beginning, I probably would have horned in there and then ran either backwards or off to the side to LOS and stack everything up. But it's just kind of inconvenient or unfortunate that I didn't have enough percentage just based off of the mobs I cleared going to each of the required bosses. But it is my first time doing a 10 here, so a lot of it is just kind of experimenting with the route on this one, and then also figuring out exactly which areas are best to pick up percent. This room probably isn't the best. I don't know if you could call this a room, but everything is spread out. It's a lot easier to run dungeons like Strat Main Gate, where everything is stacked on top of each other and you can get big percentage pulls. You know, a lot of the time on your way to final bosses, you already have percentage just from clearing what's on the way. But unfortunately, that is not, or this is not one of those dungeons. Alright, still falling pretty short on percentage. I start noticing that timer's ticking down a little bit faster than what I'm comfortable with. So having to pull a little bit bigger here. Get some big crits on Divine Storm. Everything falls at the same time, and then it's just a matter of moving on to the next one. Trying to avoid taking a whole lot of spell damage, but you know, it is inevitable. You know, it's just part of the run. Healing wards on this one. Didn't notice that the first time. A pummel probably would have been the way to go, but you know, just out DPSing everything, that works too. Again, prioritizing the lizard to avoid getting petrified back to back. Health is dropping low. Divine Storm heals us up. Oh, trying to push on percent, but it's just, it's coming real slow. You know, sometimes I do have to remind myself, though, that this is a +10 solo, and I don't have the DPS. You know, if you have, you know, let's say 3 DPS in the group that are each, you know, averaging, let's say 25k, it's at 75,000 in addition to my probably 15 that I average throughout the dungeon. So if you got 75 and 15, you know, altogether, I'm missing, you know, a little more than 3/4 of the total damage output of what you would normally have with a 5-man group. So although it is slow, I'm just not sure how other solo builds are doing with this. You know, of course, people are running mana storms. A lot of bear tanks doing high mana storms, but in terms of Mythic Plus, I haven't really seen anybody else pushing solo content on Mythic Plus. So I would like to see, you know, some of the other tanks that I know are high on Mana Storm ranking try stuff out like this. I think Bear is probably best for overall tanking and damage. But I have seen quite a few bears get annihilated by spell damage, so that is something to take into account as well. Hoping that, you know, with us at 98.2%, that this boss is going to be enough to get us to 100 here. We only got 9 minutes left. All physical damage again. Just stand in the whirlwind, not really having to worry about it too much. Oh, really? I mean, again, I just want to reiterate, these bosses give almost nothing for percentage. I'm really let down by the scaling with this. You know, with how much time goes into beating each one, you would think that they would give more percentage, but you know, maybe that's just wishful thinking. But either way, upgraded. One chested, a +10 solo. Next up is Blackrock Depths. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.